Back up. I think you people can hear me. Yippee! Oh, come on, eh? Come on. Come on. Let's continue this weird series. By this point, seafaring becomes understood by the CIS. This would cause the Mediterranean League, which had actually started stockpiling and had some levels of reverse engineering, to die. This would cause CIS troops to capture almost all of Sicily, but some guerrilla remnants are still surviving in the Sicilians. The monarch has already fled to Sardinia, with Sardinia becoming the main base of operations. The Kingdom of Cyprus actually launches an unsuccessful counterattack on the coast of Tripoli. Now, of course, this was, but eventually, but with these events, eventually, serious aid force is sent to Native America and in the areas near the Mississippi. The population here, these are a bunch of men, and they're mostly built up from tactical droids. Even though tactical droids are really dumb, they're still able to crush these guys. And the Native Americans are way easier to capture than like those guys because of the barely any military system and just marching. So they are able to destroy. So this is basically what happened in episode 1. A siege that lasts a day. But these people also don't know seafaring too. I mean, like, it took them 6 months to understand what a boat is for these people, and started confusing it. They would immediately move to Mexico. All the small cities, the Mexica people, all of them gone. Before, eventually, a large chunk of these nation states, these city states eventually become surrender states. The CIS troops eventually move into jungle, which is a terrain that I've never really experienced before, with the exception of Nigeria and those areas, but they're pretty adapted to. They got pretty adapted to. Like they're no different. With the basic knowledge of boats, a large army of droids is landed on England, specifically London, where with the fall of London and these small islands, London the kingdom of the Brits start to collapse. Gwynedd, same with the Welsh principalities and the Balials. The Balial War gets fixed in just a few months, and the Scots also are forced. Move in with the CIS actually stopping a war and replacing it with another war. By this point, messengers arrived to both Greenland and Iceland, with them telling that, I don't know, maybe. But with the knowledge of seafaring, the British Isles are no match for these guys. for the CIS, with the CIS with more of its personnel in the Eurasian area. Mainly, the main interest is actually is scientific research on a planet that could have seriously shifting climates without an extreme like the climates of those guys. But seafaring, the seas get quickly explored, so eventually guerrilla warfare becomes the main version of fighting as the Mediterranean League quickly falls. The Knights of Rhodes, the principality here, with the guerrilla warfare becoming way more common as all of Europe is already conquered by the CIS. But eventually seafaring spreads to the Indian frontier, causing this to fall. And of course the Japanese attack. And eventually they launch an invasion of Japan, a second invasion of Japan, but without divine wind, so they're pretty successful. And Japan's very adapted to them, so basically any new area they come from, they came. So basically the only real hope that that Earth had against the CIS was basically the Mediterranean League. With the fall of the Mediterranean League, there's only eventually seafaring for the CIS spreads a lot, specifically to these islands and the Kingdom of Sumatra, along with other Sumatran powers being easily conquered, especially areas here. As by this point, meanwhile, Majapahit also gets invaded with the whole island. This country, realizing that its armies already surrendered and its troops declare. With seafaring, these people become truly unstoppable, and the only thing that could ever stop them, the sea, has been breached. The kingdom of Sunda and Mahajapahit itself gets conquered, along with Bali and the other regions near it. So basically, it's Southeast Asian kingdom. The Indonesian kingdoms quickly start to collapse. I think people can hear me now. And eventually Timor-Leste gets notified about this. This whole island gets conquered, and the empire with the CIS discovering seafaring, and the Canaries, which are actually able to resist with a single island due to the more party technologies being discovered. But Africa, even though it's really hard to traverse, especially for droids, that doesn't really mean it's that hard as the kingdoms here are really, as the Swahili with the Kilvans, the Zimbabwe, eventually Madagascar too. The Congo is reached by both invasion forces, and Africa gets acclaimed really quick due to its natural resources. It's viewed as the big guys here. The Zulu's here is the Zulu. The reason the invasion of Earth took so long was mainly decentralization, actually. Since Earth was so decentralized, but eventually, because if it was a huge power center, like, it would have been destroyed in a few weeks or so. Okay, so I think you people can hear me right now. I mean, like, my dad did fix it. I think that video should blow up. Yeah, by those points, since the Maya civilization falls, eventually South America gets discovered, and of course severe movement happens in the Galapagos Islands. These civilizations, and of course Cusco itself and its baby form also collapses. Eventually they discover the Amazon, with Western troops aiding them. This North American division, which was sent pretty recently, is way better at killing these people, due to these guys only having spears and maybe an obsidian blade. With every small nation state on the Caribbean frontier, every small tribe, everyone would start submitting themselves. Hawaii is too far away. Some human civilization. So Earth has not been fully collapsed. Actually, there's still some hope on Earth for an island or two. Hawaii remains the last stronghold. It doesn't get detected, so Hawaii is just there to live the rest of its lives. Meanwhile, the other areas get conquered. The last those people in Siberia, there's no real way to resist them. The Polynesian powers are also eventually South America would fully collapse, and the operation would take a year. The Tuitonga Empire gets discovered, and that's very bad news, with the two nation states collapsing immediately. So now I know that this is basically the finale of the Earth conquest thing. Okay, so let's googling. What's this? Yes. Okay, so let's say it took like 7 months. It took like 8 months a large chunk of the CIA says time to capture Earth, but they finally won it. They finally won the war, and with that, Earth gets conquered, and that's the end of season 1.